What's going on, my beautiful, legendary people? What's going on, mi gente? Welcome to my podcast. It's your host. My name is David, and I'm your host of this legendary podcast. And we got once again, little motivation, little podcast going on here for all you folks out there who always believe that everything happens for a reason. Woo! Amen to that. Let's make it happen. I do believe in that as well. And we got a little interesting one once again, but I want to give thanks to a lot of people out there that are hitting the subscribe button, not only in my the pop beam or whatever platform you're listening to, but on my YouTube. Uh, I've increased my content, and in the last week, I have gotten about 50 followers. So, in the rate that we're going, we could probably hit 1,000 before the end of the year. Maybe, hey, who knows? At the rate that I'll be going, it could be more. So, hit that subscribe button, comment, feel free to share. I'm on YouTube and all that Podbean and all the podcast channels that's out there, Apple, Spotify, whatever it is that you're listening to. Welcome to the D-constructing Topics podcast. And today I got a little nice thing going on because everything happens for a reason. And there's stories that I'm going to tell to people. And that's why you got to hit that subscribe, because once you hit that subscribe button, you're going to be like, oh, this guy has some interesting story that I can relate to. And one of the craziest stories that I would be talking about in my podcast would be the fact that I spent almost half a decade saving somebody's life, literally saving somebody's life. And sadly, when it was my turn to ask that same person, help me out here, they were nowhere to be found. So I'm going to expect that everything happens for a reason. That's why I got a podcast to share stories, motivate you, educate you, keep you away from what's going on out there in the world, because what's going on out there in the world, it's not that good. But what's going on in my podcast is beautiful and great. And it's definitely good for the heart, soul. And this morning, I took an Uber and I was engaging. And I enjoy these conversations with some of the Uber drivers and whatnot, because it's my time to kind of, how can I say, as I would say, networking. And, I was taking Uber, and then, me and the Uber driver started talking. We started talking a little bit politics, a little bit of everything. And, what's interesting that, everything happens for a reason. And when we were having the conversation about politics and all that, and I give him my card, and it's like, oh man, this is my type of ad and all that good stuff. And it's interesting because the ride started a little bit shaky, and not in a bad sense, but it seems that the young brother was suffering from some allergies, and I'm like, hey, and in my mind, I hope that he doesn't sneeze while he's driving. You know what I mean? But the conversation ended well, and just the fact that he was like, wow, you know what? I thought about doing a podcast, a Christian podcast, and I'm like, okay, maybe I would need some help. And I'm like, all right, reach out to me. Let's make it happen. So here's the deal with that situation where a lot of times, yes, everything happens for a reason. But my thing is this. I always tell people, seize the minute that you feel that everything happens for a reason, seize the moment. Take advantage of the moment, whether it's a good or bad, learn something from it. Grab it and seize that moment, because a lot of times what happens. And then let's say the situation this morning with the Uber driver, he said, you know what, I thought about, doing podcasts, I would need to help to start a podcast. And if we both agree that everything happens for a reason, then I would take that. The young brother would definitely hit me up, reach out to me, and I'll give him some pointers. So if he doesn't reach out to me, and I'm hoping that, hey, listen, he's going to listen to this. Once he does hit the sub button and all that good stuff, he's like, yeah, that was me. But the fact that if he doesn't reach out to me, I'm just saying that he's not seizing the moment. And the whole point of that everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And I came across so many people, hey, listen, everything happens for a reason. Indeed, but what are you doing? What are you taking away from that? Coming across people, opportunities coming up. Somewhere we've sometimes wake up in the morning and there's a gut feeling that tells us, you know what, don't do it. but then you end up doing it. And then when you did it, you kind of say, wow, this is the first time that my gut feeling says, don't do something. But now I feel good doing it. And I'm like, you know what? Everything happens for a reason. What was that reason? Sometimes people react on that gut instinct, that little intuition that we have. You know what I'm saying? And that's rightfully so. Hey, have you been in that situation where it's like, your gut feeling tells you something, but your mind is like, damn, I don't know. So sometimes you're like, you know what, I'm going to go with my gut feeling, right? I remember, there was an occasion, a sister in arms one morning woke up. I'm like, damn, man, my gut feeling tells me, you know what, I'm going to stay home, but I got so much to do. She decided to stay home to find out that within, the 30 minutes of her getting up during the time that she takes the train, apparently, there was a little accident in the train that it was delayed for an hour or so. And she was like, wow, because if I would have been stuck in that train, not moving, where you can't get out, just in the tracks, I suffer from a little anxiety. And then, she was telling me, and you see, those are the things that we mean by that. So if you went on your gut instinct, you say everything happens for a reason. You see, there was a voice in my head. Perhaps it's God telling me just to stay home. Then what do you do when you do home, right? If you're, let's say, Christian, and you decided to say on that scenario that you felt like God was, kind of like letting you, hey, stay home, and you're still home. First thing you want to do is thank God, give a little prayer, open the Bible, do something to that effect. You know what I'm saying? And again, it goes to different people who had different beliefs, is that whatever your belief system is, right? Whatever it is that you want to do in life, or whatever it is that if you say to yourself, hey, listen, everything happens for a reason, just seize that moment. Don't wait like, 2 days, 3 days later. And, sometimes there's things that happen in life that could take some time. Absolutely. But don't let those things, don't let time just dictate. If you know that there's an open door there, then hey, by all means. And it has happened to me. And again, and I go back to the interesting story of my life that I spent almost half a decade helping, or at least it's not even helping. I just put it this way, that I basically saved somebody's life, literally. Somebody who was ready to give up on life. And I like to think that, hey, listen, I'm pretty sure life did not put that person in my life just so that I could be fooled to think that, hey, listen, I thought, there was a connection there. That's why I saved you. I like to think that life did not fool me, that there's something that's going to come out that's going to be legendary. And I'm pretty sure. And that's where I got this podcast to share these stories, because we all learning from each other. You know what I'm saying? I just came across a artist. She does the little commission thing going on, little something going on. And, the other day she's like, wow, I can't believe, because I like to network. Every time I go to like an event, whether it's that, the Puerto Rican festival thing, let's go, woo, like, you know what I mean? Every time I do a little whatever fundraiser, whatever event, I network. Pow, 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 pow. Give out my business card. Pow, here we go. I got a podcast. It's a little small podcast, but I'll guarantee my podcast, it's on a trajectory to be one of the best shows. Sometimes the numbers, I might not be in the top 10, whatever it is, but I'm pretty sure you're listening to this and you're enjoying it. So I gave my card to the young sister, and then, she does the art. And she came out the other day, wow, I'm glad that I came across you, because sometimes I feel like I need motivation I could join. And I listened to the podcast where I had about, what's your motto? You know what I mean? What's that thing that defines you, that's who you are? Whether it's no fear, whether whatever it is that psychs you up. And she heard that just like 1,000 over 1,500 downloads, views, or whatever the case might be. And look at that. And that young sister did a little art after that. And she was pumped. She reached out to me. She texted me and said, man, I'm glad that I came across you. Woo, let's get it. Holla. Let's do it. That's what I'm talking about. So that's why I say that my life, when it comes to my story, if you go back, and if you're a new subscriber, go back. There's different stories I gotta tell. Yeah, I never had had a little rough life at one point. Hey, amen to that. We need that. Sometimes in order to know where you're going, you gotta know where you've been at. You know what I mean? And that's my thing, why I created this podcast. And why I could wake up one day and say, man, everything happens for a reason. Whether it's good or bad, guess what? I'm sharing my stories and I'm doing content based on so many stories. And that's what I'm doing it to help you, educate you, pump you up, and seize that moment. Next time, whoever the people that are listening to this, my legendary people, I appreciate you like always. But as you listening to this, the next time, like I said, the next time you're on some, damn, everything happens for a reason. Ask yourself, okay, what's your next move? Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that's listening. Once again, my channel, my content is going on fire. The views out there, I appreciate all that. Little by little, we're going to do something legendary. Because without you, I wouldn't be here. But then again, without me, you would have been listening to this. So what makes each other? We complete each other. Hit me up. Once again, hit the subscribe, share, donate. That's a little donation button. Proceeds will always go to helping the cause, whether it's helping the cause on this podcast or helping the causes in other places that need our help. Let's make it happen. It's D-constructing Topic Podcast. And I'm out of here. Much love. Peace.